Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are going to be doing another Walking Dead Q&A, and I just want to say, man, these Q&A videos are some of my favorite videos to make, man. Honestly, I love doing these with you guys, and thank you guys so much for sending in the questions. If you want to know how you can get your questions to me for the next Q&A, which will be out next week, just be sure to leave a comment down below and put Q&A before you type your question, and I will save it for next week's Q&A, or follow me on Instagram at Daryl's_vest. And I'll be posting a story on Saturday where you guys can type in your questions, and every single question will be answered that you guys have. Thank you guys so much for all the questions. It means the world to me. I love making these videos. So let's get right into it. So the first question that we have today is, what do you think Rick's reaction will be when he finds out that Negan has been redeemed? And this is a great question because I think Rick's just going to be very surprised. I think he's probably going to have flashbacks to Glenn and Abraham dying the way that they did. And I think he's going to have a hard time accepting that, someone who did those evil things could be redeemed. But yeah, I think he's just going to be very shocked and surprised. And if there's ever a scene where Rick and Negan reunite, I mean, can you guys imagine how incredible that would be if we got some scenes of like Rick and Negan fighting walkers together or fighting the CRM or whatever it was? I mean, could you imagine how incredible that would be? Imagine a scene where Negan saves Rick's life. I mean, that would be so awesome, dude. Right? He like reaches down with the hand and like picks him up off the ground or something. You know what I mean? And Rick's just like staring at him with that look. You know what I mean? Like, man, that would be awesome, bro. Like, imagine a scene where Rick's like pinned down by CRM soldiers or something, and Negan just comes like flying out of the woods with an AR and just mows them all down, right? Like, and just runs over to Rick and like picks him up. He's like, get on your feet. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be so cool. They got to do something, man. We got to have some reunions, man. But I think he's just going to be very shocked when he finds out that Negan's not a terrible guy anymore. So, next question we have is, let me find it. Hold on. Where does the first episode of The Ones Who Live rank all time in the Walking Dead episodes for you? So, I mean, it's up there, honestly. It's so memorable for me. I've been looking forward to seeing Rick back. I mean, so much, man. I've been thinking about it ever since he flew away in that helicopter. I've always been wondering, when is Rick going to come back? And all throughout seasons, 9, 10, and 11, I was wondering, are they going to drop any hints of Rick? Are they going to, are we going to see anything, right? Like the whole time. So it's just, I don't know, it's so memorable. It's so awesome. There's so many bad A moments, like Rick cutting off his hand and just everything that he did in that episode, and just the pacing of the episode and the writing and the directing. It was such a perfect episode to me. It's a top 3, possibly top 2 episode all time for me, in my opinion. It's just so memorable, and I'll always remember this episode because the hype right now for The Walking Dead, I haven't felt in so long. I mean, I haven't felt this level of excitement in so long, and the quality of this show is honestly probably better than even the original series. I really believe that. It felt like a movie, and the original series never felt like a movie. In my opinion, it felt like a show, but this feels like a movie. The budget, just everything about it is just perfect. So it's up there, probably top 3 for me. After seeing the pacing of the first episode, are you thinking that there's still going to be a season 2? So that's a great question too, because that's something I talked about in my review of the episode, where I said the pacing was so fast, it kind of makes sense that it's only going to be 6 episodes, because they literally covered pretty much everything that Rick went through in the last 5 years in like one episode, right? And also, Rick and Michonne reunited at the end of that episode, which was such a surprise and such a shock for me. So I could actually see it only being one season and them wrapping up their story, but it just depends, man. I think one thing that could change plans is overwhelming success, especially, financially, right? If the show does so great and is breaking records and making so much money, I do see a scenario where Andrew Lincoln and Denai would come back and do more seasons of The Ones Who Live, or do a brand new show. Maybe this show is going to be so successful that they make a whole new show and reunite the characters and try to like start The Walking Dead back up again with original content. I've had that idea for so long, and I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but I would absolutely love to get 4 or 5 seasons of a Walking Dead show with Rick, Negan, Maggie, Daryl, everybody, Carol back together fighting the CRM or fighting new villains together or something like that. I would love to get that, but we'll have to just wait and see what happens. As of right now, I still believe it's just going to be one season, but I hope that I'm wrong because it's absolutely brilliant. And here's the thing, just because this is one season, if it is, doesn't mean that they can't make a new show, right? They could end up making a new show and doing more things with Rick and Michonne. So if it is only one season, it doesn't mean that it's the end for Rick and Michonne unless they die or something, obviously, or unless Andrew Lincoln and Denai just don't want to come back. But regardless, they could do more things in the future with these characters. We'll just have to wait and see, guys. So nothing's final yet. We have to just be patient and see how it plays out. So I do think it will just be one season, but I really hope I'm wrong. Next question we have is, where do you rank the ones who live amongst other Walking Dead spin-offs and also compared to the original series? That's a great question. So I think I like Dead City the least. At least compared to the new spin-offs. I like Dead City more than Fear, for sure, just because of Negan and Maggie alone. Um, Daryl Dixon was really good to me. I really enjoyed Daryl Dixon. So I'd say The Ones Who Live is probably my favorite The Walking Dead spin-off. And I guess you're asking, how do you compare The Ones Who Live to the original series? And that's just such a hard question to ask because the original series is what started it all. The original series is, 14 years worth of content. And we've only had one episode of this, so it's really not even fair to compare this show to the original series. But I mean, the original series has brought us so many great moments throughout, 14 years, so many awesome, epic moments, and we'll have to see where this show ends up going. Could there be a second season? Could there be more awesome moments and epic moments? I mean, we'll just have to see. But right now, it's not even really fair to compare The Ones Who Live to the original series of The Walking Dead. But I definitely think it's my favorite Walking Dead spinoff. And just the quality alone, it just feels like a freaking movie, man. So, yeah, it's definitely number one in terms of my favorite Walking Dead spinoff. How do you rate Rick Grimes, or where do you rate Rick Grimes in your top characters for The Walking Dead? I mean, he's up there. Right now, I'd probably have him at number two. I just love Daryl. I felt like I always connected with Daryl so much. Like, I see me in Daryl. You know what I mean? Like, the way Daryl acts and the way that he is, I just always connected with him. Even, back in season one and season two, I just loved Daryl. And I love Rick too, so it's probably Daryl number one, Rick number two, and then probably Negan. Michonne's got to be up there too. I always really liked Rosita as well. But yeah, I'd say Rick is probably number two for me. And the final question we have for today's Q&A is, do you think Dead City Season 2 will be better because Season 1 was boring to me? So this is a great question, and I think what's interesting about Dead City is, like, you kind of have to give them a chance to correct the mistakes, right? Like, I will admit, even as a huge Walking Dead fan, Dead City did not grab me. Like, it didn't pull me in and make me feel super excited or, a super incredible sense of anticipation. I never felt that with Dead City. I didn't really care as much as I thought I was going to care. I was thinking, Negan and Maggie back, oh, this is going to be incredible. And it honestly was not incredible. I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. It was pretty decent. There were some cool moments, but it just didn't grab me. And the whole Negan versus Maggie thing is just so played out by now. I mean, I'm so sick and tired of seeing Negan and Maggie going at it. We've been seeing that for like the last 5 years, man. Like, I'm just so tired of Negan versus Maggie. And, that's kind of how the show ended, right? With them fighting and stuff, and Negan or Maggie kind of betraying Negan. And it's just, I don't know, it's so played out, and it seemed kind of just like a cheap grab at the fans, like a cash grab, in my opinion. And I just wasn't crazy about it. But here's the thing. You have to give them a chance to correct their mistakes and make it better. So I'm really, really optimistic that Dead City Season 2 will be way better than Season 1. Because, I mean, it has to be, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't really know anything about the story or what they're planning or anything like that. So, I mean, I don't really know what's going to happen. But I just really hope it is better. Because I think these spinoffs have so much potential, especially Daryl Dixon and The Ones Who Live. But we'll just have to wait and see, man. But I do think it will be better, to answer your question. So that's going to conclude the video, guys. Thank you so much for sending in the questions. Once again, if you're wondering how you can get your questions to me, just drop a comment down below and make sure you type Q&A before you ask a question, or go follow my Instagram at Daryl's_vest. And every single Saturday, I'm going to be posting a story where you guys can type in your questions, and every single question will be answered. I love interacting with you guys. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for the support. I will see you guys in the next video. Be sure to stay safe out there in the crazy world. Peace out.